So metal may have originated from factory lines of the big city, but nowhere feels more metal to me than the British countryside. The man I'm meeting here just outside Tewkesbury, even the name sounds metal, goes by the name of Crusher. After starting off by designing record sleeves for the likes of Motorhead and Sabbath and working at Kerrang, he then preached the word of heavy metal on TV, radio, and on tour as a DJ compere for every metal show that mattered. I hear rumors that he now dabbles in the dark arts. Wonder what happens in there.
If you could speak, what would you tell me? Hieroglyphic text, spells that protect, universe descent, symbols that project, let's save a kiss for his wood lips, let's make a wish, let's take a trip.
I got called in to design the Born Again cover. The first time I ever met Don Arden was when I went to the meeting for that. And I used to go into Jet Records regularly, and I used to have a little dog called Bullseye. We used to go into the office, I used to let Bullseye run round, say hello to everybody. This time I go in, I let Bullseye off. Suddenly Don Arden, who looks the spitting image of Marlon Brando in The Godfather, bursts out of this office with the biggest handgun I've ever seen in my life. And he goes, "Whose fucking dog is this? Get it out of my office now or I'll fucking shoot it." Put it on the lead, gave it to Lindsay, went into the office to have the meeting. He still had the gun in his left hand. We shook hands, and I was like, fuck, no way do I want to be involved with this. So what's the worst idea I can think of? A baby with horns, fangs, you know, nails, shit colours. A few days later, get a phone call, we love it. When they had the meeting, Geezer Butler said, "It's shit, but it's fucking great." Don Arden says, "I've already had the costume made for a little person. And at the end of the show, he's going to run across the top of the Marshall Wall." But what happened on the tour was that the little person had nothing to do from the beginning to the end of the show. He used to go backstage, get pissed as fuck, running across the top of the Marshalls, fell off, broke his arm, broke his leg, end of the baby.
When that first time you heard Sabbath, did it get the hook in you?
I think it was May the 30th, 1970, and it was at Malvern Winter Gardens, and it was a most powerful performance. And my dad came to pick me up after the gig, and I just remember sitting in the car thinking, I don't know how, I don't know when, but I am going to be involved in the music industry. And almost 30 years to the date, West Palm Beach, Florida, 20,000 kids, and I'm walking on stage with Sabbath, and it's like, I did it. You know, I told each individually, I saw you first at Malvern Winter Gardens. Each one of them just went, oh God, that's when we first dropped acid on stage. The very first Kerrang cover that I did, who should be on the cover? Black Sabbath. And you know the very last Kerrang that I designed was on Black Sabbath. Isn't it bizarre? They are so important in my life. And that's one of my favourite shots that I took of Ozzy on the Ozfest, with his evil, and he looks about as evil as Noddy.
I have to admit, I was not expecting such an immediate bromance with my new wizard buddy. There were no bro jobs though, I have to tell you, swear to God. No broners were touched, exchanged in any way, shape, or form. It was straight up real man shit. My man Crusher, I love him so, and truly he is a wizard. So some British kids wanted to play loud. Marshall made the amps. The band started playing and starting a new genre. But where were they going to record to get that mystical heavy sound mixed with serious druid vibes? You know, like serious druid vibes. Like serious druid vibes. Well, I guess it had to be Rockfield in South Wales. I took my man Crusher along as a backup, and we went up all inside the deep guts of Rockfield.
When I was a young fan, the one studio that you used to see in the press was Rockfield. That was the rock studio. I mean, it's just seeped in history. We'll be able to lick it out of the walls.
Hey, man. I'm Jesse.
Kingsley. 50 years I've been here, Jesse.
50 years?
50 years.
I want to know everything there is to know at Rockfield that you care to tell us, because I'm a fan of this place, and what you do here is magical, and what you've kept alive is a beautiful dream.
It is just.
Thank you.
This studio here we're going to show you, right, was built in 1973. And everybody in London said it'll never happen. In the country, it won't work. Well, we're the last one standing now, so we proved them all wrong, haven't we? Now, this studio is synonymous always with Queen.
Oh, killer. What was that like having him in the studio?
Mad. Not as mad as you.
Oh, thank you.
I think you're more the real deal.
This place is beautiful, man.
I've known Sabbath since I think it's 1969 they first turned. Ozzy's about 16 and the rest was slightly older. And we started off in the other studio. And I remember the first album, like Paranoid, that stuff. This Marshall is not the most requested amplifier in the world to be used.
That is the holy grail of rock.
Everybody uses it. They always ask for that amplifier. It's the original Marshall speakers, much louder than modern ones.
Something about this place pulls the rock bands in.
That's right.
What is it? I mean, what do you think it is?
People want to go where the heroes have been before.
Right.
They want to go where the legends have been. Because Abbey Road is synonymous with the Beatles and Dark Side of the Moon, isn't it? Rockfield is synonymous with a different culture altogether. More street cred, I would say. Echo chambers, right, were used back in the 1950s and 60s, and we built 3 of them here. Abbey Road had a couple, but they must have been destroyed.
And Sabbath came, and they robbed hard, they robbed heavy, they robbed animal.
Yeah. That's nice.
That wall there is where Noel and Liam sat on top of there and sung the lyrics to What's the Story, Morning Glory. We call it Wonderwall, but they actually sat on top of that. And that's where Ozzy, I remember Ozzy Osbourne, he's about 16 playing bows and arrows here when they first turned up. Joe Strummer was over here recording. I'm stood in the yard over there and Robert Plant drives in. And I said to Robert Plant, here's Joe Strummer. He said, do you know I've never met him, but I'd love to. So we all went over, and there was Joe taking his groceries off his back seat, sticking them on the roof, because that's the way he was, Joe Strummer, like, you know. I said, look, here's Robert Plant and Dave Evans. They come to say hello to you. And he said, do you know, he said, I am so pleased to meet you too. And Robert, fair do, said the privilege is ours. So I said to Anne, my wife, because we don't take photos, I said, go and get a camera. A week goes by, we get a fax on a Saturday from Joe Strummer. I'll speak to you Monday about coming back in January. On Monday, the telephone goes, and it was a friend of ours, John David, songwriter. He said, guess who's dead? We said, no idea. He said, Joe Strummer. Oh. Well, we nearly fell over. So we ran over to the television. There it was on television, The Clash. So I knew poor old Joe. I sat there thinking, poor. And then all of a sudden I thought, God, he owes us 3,000 quid. Wednesday, in the post came a Christmas card from Joe Strummer, said to all at Rockfield, see you in the new year. Lots of love, Joe. And a £3,000 cheque.
The time has come to return to the big smoke, and I feel like I'm a changed man after my time out in nature with a friendly wizard. Probably the very same wizard that Black Sabbath was speaking of on that pivotal first album.
Animal!
Wow.